Hey guys, welcome to my third C tutorial. I'm Rascal999 and I'm going to be focusing on the calculator program I started working on in my second C tutorial. If you haven't seen that tutorial yet, I suggest you head over and check it out before going through this one, as I am kind of continuing from that last tutorial. I'm going to be working on if statements in this tutorial, and the way in which I'm going to use them is it will be considered by some people not to be a very optimal way of doing it. For demonstration purposes though, I shall be using if statements in this program, and then I shall be focusing on a better way to handle the user input in this instance in my next tutorial, which will be through the use of switch statements. Those who are proficient in C will know what I'm talking about. Okay. If statements provide the program a means of doing different things in different situations and different circumstances. So depending on what data is presented to the program, it can act in different ways. This is a fundamental concept of programming, not just C. So I'm going to show you it now, and you'll have an idea of what its function is, and you know how huge the if statement actually is. It's a very fundamental thing in programming. So our program right now at the moment takes user input, two values, and divides them. Okay, that's all well and good, but this is not a very good calculator because it doesn't allow the user to say what operation they'd like to perform on the numbers they've input. So in order to fix this, we shall use if statements. So the first thing we're going to do is inform the user that they can enter an operation. This is going to look a bit confusing, but just stick with it. We're doing enter operation, new line, and then 1 plus new line, 2 minus new line, and 3 times new line, and 4 divide new line, and then like an indicator to say that they can choose one. Okay, and then we're going to scan a number and store it in C. Okay, we need to declare C, so make sure we do that here, and we'll make C equal 0. Okay, so at the moment this program now takes an input. It asks the user to enter an operation, so that's all well and good. Notice this is all on the one line, but because I have the backslash ends for the special character return, it's printed on the shell on separate lines. So we have enter operation where you can choose one. At the moment nothing happens, it will just divide them because it's got nothing else. There's no if statement yet, so we need to write the if statements. Okay, so what we're going to do is if C equals 1, then A equals A plus B. Okay, so what happens here is an if statement is comprised of if and condition. So if this condition is met, then do the following. So we have if condition and what statements to run if the condition is true. That's not the if statement in its entirety. There's actually some more to it, but I'm just going to focus on this for now. So if C equals 2, then A equals A minus B. Notice I'm using two equals here, not just one. That's because, as I stated earlier in my previous tutorial, this is actually a valid statement in itself and will be executed by it will be run by the program when the if statement is there. So if we did C equals 1, C equals 1 on its own is a valid statement and thus will be run. That will actually 1 will actually be put into C, and we don't want that. So to test the data in C, we're just going to do if C equals 1. Okay. It'll be a very common error one once you start programming in C a lot more. Everyone does it. If C equals 1, you know, that's going to happen at least once in your programming career. So make sure you do C equals 1. Don't forget that. Okay, so if C equals 3, A equals A times B, and if C equals 4, A equals A divided by B. Okay. So if C equals 1, A equals A plus B. If C equals 2, A equals A minus B. If C equals 3, A equals A times B. And if C equals 4, A equals A divided by B. Okay. We can get rid of this line now, because we don't need it anymore. And if we run this program, make sure we saved it. Calc, so let's do 10 and 5. Enter operation, let's say we want to add them together. There we go, answer's 15. And again, if we do 10 and 5, say we want to divide them, that also works. Let's do 101 plus 9 plus 110. So yeah, it's working fine. One thing this program doesn't deal with yet is if we enter invalid input. So let's do 0. No mathematical function was performed, so what happens is A is just printed to the screen. So if we do 1, 2, 3 and make that 0 and just do nothing, 1, 2, A will just be printed out to the screen. This isn't a desirable this isn't very, it's not a desirable effect. So what we're going to do is introduce you to nested if statements. If C equals 1, then A equals A plus B. If this condition is not met, then we can do something called else. And in this case, we're going to do else if. So else if C equals 2, then A equals A take away B. If C does not equal 2, then else. If C equals 3, A equals A times B. If that's not true, else. If C equals 4, A equals A divided by B. If that is also not true, then else return 0. Okay. What this will do is through process of elimination, if C does not equal 1, 2, 3, or 4, then the program will terminate. So let's do 2 and 3 and enter 0. Okay, so the program just terminates. This isn't very informative for the user, so what we're going to do is I'll introduce you to multi-line multiple statements in an else as a result of. So let's do else printf invalid input return 0 and close it off. Okay, so now both of these statements are executed. These are compulsory if you want to do multi-line. If you want to do it multi-line, that's how it goes. Notice I didn't do return 0 here. This was in my last tutorial actually. That was a complete accident on my behalf, and I apologise for that. It's something that everyone does it at least once. So make sure you learn from that and don't do it yourself. Okay, so now our program does enter. Let's do something adventurous. 34. That will be 110 if we add it together. And if we do 23 and 54 and enter a stupid number here, it will say invalid input. Okay. Notice that there's no return, so we need to add a return in here. And now that will be on a separate line, so it looks nice if we do that. And a random number. Okay, invalid input. And make sure you spell invalid wrong, so otherwise that won't look too great. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that works fine. This is not a very efficient use. It's not a very good use of if statements. There's actually a better way you can do this, and I'm going to be focusing on that in my next tutorial, which will be focusing on switch statements. So I hope this tutorial has been useful. I'm Rascal999. You can check out my blog at rascal999.co.uk, and you can check out the source code to this program at my forum, which will be available on the right hand side, and it's also accessible through my blog. Okay, thanks.